The Jimmy Olsen Radio Network.
Welcome to the Gospel Road. We'll call it State Fair Edition. Why not? Because the Iowa State Fair is happening right now. In fact, today is the final day of the Iowa State Fair. I'll be heading out a little later and trying to get things wrapped up, and then we'll be all done for 2021, and then we will get ready for 2022. But long road ahead of us between now and then. I mean, not a long, it's like, 354 days? Something like that. But it's, fair time, always long, always tiring, exhausting. I mean, anyone who knows that works the fair understands that, but a little more for us because the full-time job, we are getting ready to move to a new location here, hopefully in the next month or two. And we had some storage. And so what we did, because we had to rent a van to get everything set up and then tear down for the fair, we just kept it for the 2 weeks. So we were able to then go and empty out the storage container, which we'll finish on Tuesday. But yeah, it has just been a warm, sweaty, long couple weeks. It has, but not terrible. As they say, it could always be worse, but hope everything is going well for you. Just as usual, I share, maybe overshare, that just really busy around here trying to get a lot of things done, because then once the fair is over, then we have one of our major events of the year. And then we have our fall carathon at the end of the month, as we'll start to go on the air and trying to get support to finish off our need for 2021 to keep the radio station on the air. But today we're going to look at 1 Corinthians 9. And it's one thing when you're out at the fair to see all the people, but then to learn it's a great way to learn how to be nice. And this year, people seem to be a little more rude. Just like people seem to have forgotten how to drive after this whole pandemic thing, the lockdown, and they started bringing it out. And I swear, people are just driving faster than ever before, not paying attention worse than ever before. And I believe that even fatalities and accidents have actually increased. But, it's just, it really makes you watch and observe, and then wants you to go, what is it? Why are you being this way? What is so important that you have to get to that next place, to get to wherever it is that you're going to? I don't know how many times I have been shoulder hit, just like slammed into my shoulder at the fair. You have all these people gathered together. They've been getting, almost at least 90,000 people a day, a few days over 100,000. So, that's a lot of people in the grounds, and you're enclosed, and I'm trying to get out of the way, and they're just like barreling through. I've never ever, I do not remember, and I could be wrong, but it's one of those, I do not remember ever being shoulder blocked like that, ever at the Iowa State Fair. Hard to where it pushed me. And I'm sitting here going, why are we needing to be so rude all of a sudden? Really now, because of what we're dealing with, it gives us that free card to be a jerk? Really? It makes you really want to know what's going on in their minds. And of course, I don't know that I want to know what's going on in my minds, because I'm sure you don't want to know what's going on in my mind, because I don't want to know what's going on in my mind. But what gives that opportunity to just be able to be a jerk to somebody? There's this crowd of people. I'm trying to get out of the way. You can't lean over a bit too? Is that too much for you to go out of your way? Respect, love. It's what I always share. It's what I always talk about. And that's how we need to treat one another. And There is such a lack of that in our world that no wonder people have the feelings the way they do. No wonder people feel so down, depressed, left out. Because if you have people treating you that way, that's the way you're going to feel. There's some that are going to be able to really reach above that, but not everybody's going to be able to. I mean, I can tell you, and I've told you, I have my days. I've never gone through the full description of my life, but there are things that have happened that really puts me in some really low moods. And I'll be honest, I grew up a childhood of being in a low mood, depressed. You know, we need to encourage, to motivate, to help, to lift up one another so people can have a better day, a better life, to be a better person. It's just I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. To watch how people are treating one another and how we are so divided anymore as a country, as a world. Politically, now health-wise, because of what's happening around us. Still dealing with the pandemic and when is the end in sight, which I'm not sure that there is, the way this is going. Because that's certainly how the news media is portraying it. It's never going to go away. But then again, it's a virus, so not a conversation I'm trying to get into on this one, but again, it's heartbreaking that no one can have decent conversations. We're right back to having those arguments again. So now all of a sudden at your table at Christmas, you're not going to be able to talk about religion. You're not going to be able to talk about government or politics. And now you're not going to be able to talk about your health. Because it's going to create some argument, which then somehow it's going to be tied into politics and religion anyway. 1 Corinthians 9. It says, "Am I not free? Am I not an apostle? Have I not seen Jesus our Lord? Are not you my workmanship in the Lord? If to others I am not an apostle, at least I am to you. For you are the seal of my apostleship in the Lord. This is my defense to those who would examine me. Do we not have the right to eat or drink? Do we not have the right to take along a believing wife, as do other apostles and the brothers of the land and Cephas? Or is it only Barnabas and I who have no right to refrain from working for a living? Who serves as a soldier at his own expense? Who plants a vineyard without eating any of its fruits? Or who tends a flock without getting some of the milk? Do I say these things on human authority? Does not the law say the same? For it is written in the law of Moses, you shall not muzzle an ox when it treads out to the grain. It is for oxen that God is concerned. Does he not certainly speak for our sake? It was written for our sake, because the plowman should plow in hope, and the thresher thresh in hope of sharing in the crop. If we have sown spiritual things among you, it is too much. Is it too much if we reap material things from you? If others share things rightful claim on you, do not we even more? Nevertheless, we have not made use of this right, but we endure anything rather than put an obstacle in the way of the gospel of Christ. Do you not know that those who are employed in the temple get their food from the temple? And those who serve at the altar share in these sacrificial offerings. In the same way, the Lord commanded that those who proclaim the gospel should get their living by the gospel. But I have made no use of any of these rights, nor am I writing these things to secure any such provision, for I would rather die than to have anyone deprive me of my ground for boasting. For if I preach the gospel, that gives me no ground for boasting. For necessity is laid upon me. Woe to me if I do not preach the gospel. For if I do this on my own will, I have a reward. But if not of my own will, I am still entrusted with the stewardship. What then is my reward? That in my preaching I may present the gospel free of charge, so as not to make full use of my right in the gospel. For though I am free from all, I have made myself a servant to all, that I might win more of them. To the Jews I became as a Jew in order to win Jews. To those under the law I became as one under the law, though not being myself under the law, that I might win those under the law. To those outside the law I became as one outside the law, not being outside the law of God, but under the law of Christ, that I might win those outside the law. To the weak I become weak, that I might win the weak. I have become all things to all people, that by all means I might save someone. I do it for the sake of the gospel, that I may share with them in its blessings. Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one receives the prize? So run that you may obtain it. Every athlete exercises self-control in all things. They do it to receive a perishable wreath, but we are imperishable. So I do not run aimlessly. I do not box as one beating the air, but I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified. 1 Corinthians 9. The training of an athlete, the training of a runner, it takes dedication. It's a mental focus, a physical building. You know, you want that donut, but I can't. I need to train my body. I need to not put bad things into it. I'm going to run a marathon this weekend. I'm going to run a 5K this weekend, a 10K. I'm playing basketball this weekend. You know, being that servant to all, being able to have those conversations, being able to read the room. See, we learn that a lot when you are dealing in entertainment. It's always weird to say that, but being in radio, it is entertainment. And for us, it's called understanding your listeners. You know, who's listening to the station? When you're at a party, you're in a band, they call it read the room, or you're public speaking. It's called reading the room, knowing what the people are responding to when you're having a conversation. But at the same time, it's holding yourself, being stronger for yourself, to exercise self-control. I mean, I've been at the fair for 11 days. I have not had the State Fair mini donuts. I've not had a funnel cake. I've not had cheese curds, but I might break down and get those today. It is the final day. I will admit I've had the Barksdale cookies. Okay, that has happened. But it's understanding, knowing when you are in a certain time of your life of what you're able to do and not able to do. You're dealing with high blood pressure. There's certain foods you're not able to eat. You're diabetic. You need to have self-control. There's things that you're not able to have. Is it easy? No. And we've talked about that life is not easy. It was not made to be. It's not an easy journey of what we have to do every day to get through things. But it's for us to be there for one another, to help one another, to encourage, to inspire, to motivate, to just lift them up. To not be a jerk at the Iowa State Fair and, just throttle your shoulder into somebody. I think my shoulder still hurts. I think it was bruised. But it's all that coming together and helping one another and being there for one another. But then at the same time, we have to hold ourselves accountable for what we are doing, what we're allowed to do. I mean, unless you want to hire somebody to slap the food out of your hand, to slap the drink out of your hand. At some point, we have to be that responsible adult. Or just be responsible. You don't have to be an adult. You can be a teenager. You need to be responsible. You need to learn that responsibility. It needs to be taught from a young age. And being brought up that way, to be respectful and to be responsible. Because on the other hand, we're in this world together. It's not separate. So we have to live together. We have to be together. As I was talking in 1 Corinthians 9, the Jew under the law, not under the law. So us in a world, we have all these different nationalities. We have to live together. We're in this world together. We're not segregated. Though sometimes I feel that's what people want. Yet they're fighting segregation. But then they want to be segregated. Riddle me that one. Could you explain that one to me? Because I certainly don't get it. Speak against oppression, but then I want to be oppressed. Can you explain that one to me? Maybe people have no clue what they're talking about. They're just being sheep and letting somebody else blow the bullhorn. But they have no clue what that person's saying because they're just following blindly rather than thinking and using their mind. See, we have a brain that we need to use. Trust and verify. The Bible tells us this. And I, to be honest, am so beyond the trust part, I just have to skip straight to the verify anymore. Because that's where I am, in this world. With people. The trust has been broken so many times that for me, it's straight to that verification. Because so many people are so full of themselves and, full of what's out in the livestock barns that I can't. It's hard. I try. But it is... it's hard. I'm not saying even everything that I say is 100%, but because even I say, if I share something, absolutely check it out. Trust and verify. Be a better person. Be better today than yesterday. Be better tomorrow than today. And start working on ourselves to be healthy mentally, spiritually, and physically. To get that rest, to get that break, so your mind can relax. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, that's what I looked at today. Read that for yourself. And how does it really reach into you, and what does it help you with? And, if you enjoyed this episode, thank you so much for listening, and share it. You can share it on social media. You can find me on social media, ones that I have not been blocked on yet anyway, but you can just look up my buddy Jimmy. I am on YouTube still. I've got videos that I'm sharing. Many videos anymore that I'm sharing. In fact, I've been doing state fair stuff, and me and my boss, because he sits in the big chair, Matt, we've been doing these food testings because it was his first year at the Iowa State Fair. So we've been doing that. That was kind of funny. And I even have a video up there because I did the celebrity goat milking contest. I lost, but it happens. I beat Max, though. So there was only 2 radio personalities, and so I came in first place that way. It's all about perspective. So I won. No ribbon, though, but I won. You can check that out. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Just look up my buddy Jimmy. I think I'm still blocked on Twitter, so you can keep trying on that, but I'm not sure. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for following me and finding me on social media. And thank you so much for rating my episodes as well, as you listen in whatever way, your favorite platform for listening. But thank you for listening to The Gospel Road. Have a great day. God bless.
Spinal adjustments provided by Dr. Chad Rolfson. The Spinal Tuning Chiropractic Center is a Des Moines area low flat fee per month unlimited chiropractic care practice. When life happens, just adjust. Schedule today at spinaltuning.com.
Barbecue provided by Kenny's Rib Wagon, catering ribs for your pleasure and serving daily at Plaza Pub, 62nd and Douglas in Des Moines, across from Merle Hay Mall. Find Kenny's Rib Wagon on Facebook.
The Jimmy Olsen Radio Network.